Well, hey, good morning. 7:30 in the morning, January 15th, 2022, on the East Coast of the United States. Oh, let me let some light in here, since it is light out already. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to try another experiment this morning. I've been reading about turmeric coffee. Apparently Starbucks makes this, and it's become a big thing. Turmeric is one of the latest health crazes. There are people jumping on the bandwagon to try to sell you all sorts of concoctions with this in it. All things in moderation. That's what's best for your health. But anyway, so what I've got here is I've got about 3.5 ounces of almond coconut milk in here. And I've read up on different recipes for the turmeric coffee. Now, some of them contain black pepper. I'm not gonna do that this time, okay? So this is the way the proportions go for 1 cup of, well, actually, I'm saying coffee. It's actually for espresso, and I'm gonna use an Altissio espresso on my Virtuo machine. So the first thing it tells you is to put in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I will do that. Okay, there's that. Okay, then it says to put in, and where's my 1/4 teaspoon? Okay, I can't find it. It says to put in 1/8 of a teaspoon of ginger. So I'll take this off. Okay, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ginger. Let me put the little cap back on here. Ginger. Okay, then it says to take 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay. There we go. It's gonna be some spicy coffee, huh? And then it says to take 1/4 of a teaspoon of the turmeric. Now, since I don't have my 1/4 of a teaspoon measure, I probably left it in something I was measuring. I'll do 2/8 of a teaspoon. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. And the reason I put it in my milk frother is that, it's got that little springy mixy thing in there. So it'll mix all of this up into the milk. I've got it plugged in, put the lid on. And of course, since this is the almond coconut milk, it's not gonna froth up, but it'll heat the milk up and mix it with the spices. Now, you know what? Here, I've got my great big cup. I don't think I'm gonna need such a big cup because, I'm just making espresso. So let me see, yeah, okay. Instead of the 17 ounce, I'll use the 10 ounce cup. So let's see, how are we doing here? It's mixing around. Okay, so we'll just wait for that to go. And, I'm a little tempted to add some black pepper, but I'm gonna try it first without it. A lot of recipes do not have the pepper in there. And I feel as though it might be very tasty and spicy with the things that I have in it. So again, I've got the vanilla extract. I've got, that was a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I've got an eighth of a teaspoon of ginger, an eighth of a teaspoon of cinnamon, quarter of a teaspoon of the turmeric, and we're ready here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pour this in here. Oh, isn't that a pretty color? And lots of times this is called golden turmeric coffee, and we can see why. Okay, now it's time to brew that espresso into the cup. Okay, so here's my Vertuo machine. We'll see what happens. And I have never tried this, so we're doing this together this morning. Okay, the machine's heating up and it'll start in just a second. Here we go. Now this espresso that I'm using is a pretty intense one. So I'm not going to lose that coffee flavor amidst all those spices. It ought to come out just really, really good. I'll hold this up for you. I'm kind of excited about this, you know, something new. Let me give it a sniff here. Oh, it's unusual. It's unusual. I don't know how to characterize it. It's, okay, unusual. That's the only adjective I can come up with. So now, I give it the first little taste with the spoon. Oh, you know, it did say to go ahead and put some sweetener in. I'm going to use, all right, here we go. I'm going to use some simple syrup. It said don't sweeten it too much. Okay, that's a very little bit, but we'll see. I can always add more, right? Let me add just a little bit more. Now, you know how I always say, you've got to try something several times before you can kind of really get the hang of the taste of it. Because if you've never had something before, unless it's like really sweet, if you're just tasting new flavors, it may take you several times to just sort of, for your senses to understand what's coming through, to be able to make a decision if you really like it or not. Okay, this is already on the spoon tasting better. You know, sometimes you need, just like you need a little salt in savory foods to bring out the flavor, sometimes you need a little sweetener in things that lend themselves more towards sweetness than savoriness to bring out that flavor, especially when spices are involved. Ooh, ooh, okay. I'm getting the kick from the turmeric. Furthermore, I can understand why people would say to add a little black pepper in this, because it would give it just a little bit more bite. This is kind of exciting. Wow. Now, do you know what? I would try to add a little black pepper, but I don't even think I have any. I don't use pepper. I may use a little salt, tiny bit. I use spices, herbs and spices. I don't use pepper. Well, I do have a bottle of lemon pepper up there, but I I don't think I'll try that in this. Not today. This is a fun coffee. Do you know what? I think that something that would go really well with this would be vanilla ice cream. In fact, oh, I could see making this into a sort of a syrup or a sauce and pouring it over vanilla ice cream. I always think up these things with heavy sweets, don't I? Well, I can dream. Anyway, so here we go, the turmeric coffee.